YouTube was good. It's your boy Spice Glory back in the building for another reaction. We're going to be reacting to ESTG speaks out on walking out during Bootleg Kev interview and sends strong message. Without further ado, let's get this thing popping.
I know Chigs is in here recording this.
No Chig Smooth in here, right? So whatever you say,
you know Chig gonna have everything up there.
whatever you say, Chig's gonna be on YouTube with it, man.
Are we doing an interview or are we here to do a podcast? Now, I want you guys to really pay attention because we are in the middle of a shift right now. The lines between artists doing interviews versus coming in to do a podcast are getting blurred. ESTG was on Bootleg Kev's platform doing an interview. Now, ESTG actually ends up walking out of this interview. Doesn't say why, just gets up mid-question and leaves. Now, personally, I thought that the interview was going well. The first question Bootleg Kev asked him was about his music and creative process, and then he got to asking him about other random things that don't have anything to do with music. Bootleg Kev asked him,
You know, for the most part, rapper interviews just don't be interesting a lot of the time. Rapper interviews just don't be interesting a lot of the time. I'm gonna keep it so real with you. For the most part, most rappers don't have a real personality when you do interviews with them. When you see people who are in journalism doing interviews with rappers, most rappers don't have a personality interesting enough that's like different than the next rapper. So, I mean, I can kind of understand the frustration of people who, like, do interviews and, you know, them having to basically pigeonhole rappers to answer questions. And also, I can understand it on the rapper side where this is probably the 10th interview this rapper has done today, and they asking him the same exact questions over and over and over. So I kind of understand the dynamic on both sides of the game. But I mean, you just have to give both sides have to give a little in order to make a creatively dynamic and versatile interview. So I mean, that's just how I feel about interviews.
him about his jewelry, asked him if he knew who Brian Pumper, the porn star, was, Joe Rogan, aliens, if they're real or not, movies.
Why are you asking him that?
Weather in Kentucky, his dealings with the police, and then he asked him about features on his album coming out on Friday. And then after
Why
that,
you ask him
Bootleg
about
Kev
that?
asked him about the NFL Combine because ESTG did play football, and that was the last straw for him. He got up.
He couldn't
and
take it
left.
no more.
Now, the reason I said that the lines are getting blurred between interview and a podcast is because certain platforms want the artists that come in for interviews to talk about other things. They want them to become personalities. A lot of rappers just want to come in, talk about their music, and leave. They don't want to talk about other
okay, I
things
see.
going on in social-
Okay, I see what he means. He's like, there's a difference between an interview and a podcast. Oh, okay, I get it. I don't know, man. I mean, is Bootleg Kev a podcaster? Is he on like on radio? That's the ultimate question. If he's on radio, then he should just be asking questions about. He should just be answering the standard. You know, he should just be asking the standard questions that you ask, you know, an artist. I mean, he shouldn't be treading outside those lines. But I mean, I guess he wanted to make an interesting interview. I guess.
Social media or current events. Now, ESTG addressed Bootleg Kev after he walked out. He said, yo, Bootleg Kev, you trying to play it like I walked out because of football? Like I ain't did plenty interviews talking about playing and talking about it in my music. You asking me if I remembered an old man porn star, if I believed in aliens and the NFL
all
Combine?
of that is crazy.
What the F did that guy do?
You asked me all of that
and I literally
at
just
once.
walked out that interview 2 hours ago. You already got a clip up. You trying to go viral. I got real life shit going. Ask around. I don't feel like playing, so please don't play with me because I play crazy. God damn, ESTG, slow down. Stall him out. Now, I can't put all the blame on Bootleg Kev. To the rappers and whoever's organizing these interviews for you guys for your rollout, you gotta know which platforms to go to.
Exactly.
Don't go to every platform to do an interview just because they have an audience. You gotta know the personality of the person conducting the interview. If you're doing an interview with Bootleg Kev, you gotta know he's gonna talk about other things.
You have to know his. You have to know his audience. Like whoever his assistant, whoever is like ESTG's assistant or whoever works for the label, they should have did their research on Bootleg Kev to know whether like, okay, is this gonna be a personality that somebody like ESTG would like to sit down with? You know what I'm saying? They should have really did their research before they decided to like, throw ESTG to the wolves in a way.
It's outside of music, similar to Adam 22. If you just want to talk about your music, go to platforms like Rap Radar, Gillian Wallow, platforms that's not really gonna ask you much outside of your music and your career. But tell me what you guys think about this, man. Who do you guys think was wrong for this? Obviously, walking out on an interview is not cool. I think ESTG should have probably told him, yo, can we talk about music? That's really what I came here for. Push comments below. Scratch my chin.
Yeah, I do feel, I mean, some artists actually do that. They do go, before they do the interview, they do tell the interviewer, hey, this is what I don't want to talk about. So, I mean, that also should have got straightened out as well. I believe Bootleg Kev responded to this. Let me just go look for it real quickly. Okay, so this is Bootleg Kev's response.
I know Chigs is in here recording this.
No Chid Smooth in here, right? So whatever you say, do with it, man.
Bootleg Kev is not backing down to ESTG. Now, after ESTG walked out on this interview, if you guys haven't watched that video, make sure you guys go check it out. I guess ESTG came there to mainly talk about his music. Bootleg Kev came there to do a podcast talking about other things in social media, aliens, Joe Rogan, his jewelry, and even Brian Pumper. Yes, that's Brian
So
Pumper.
random.
Now, after ESTG
Like,
walked
why?
out, he sent a message on Instagram to Bootleg Kev, pretty much explaining why he walked out. He said, yo, Bootleg Kev, you trying to play like I walked out because of football, like I ain't did plenty of interviews talking about playing and talking about it to my music. You asking me if I remember an old man porn star, if I believe in aliens in the NFL Combine. What the F do that got to do with my album dropping Friday? I literally just walked out 2 hours ago and you already got a clip up. I don't feel like playing, so please don't play with me because I'll play crazy. Now, after hearing this reason, Bootleg Kev does not care. He's still gonna talk about what he wants to talk about on his podcast. He took to Instagram to say, yo, shout out to ESTG though. I'm a fan and I'm looking forward to his new album dropping tomorrow night. I also can't wait to talk about Brian Pumper, aliens, and footballs with future guests. Now, it does not stop
See, he
there.
playing.
One of Bootleg's cameraman, the photographer, S-Dot, he weighed in on the situation. He said, yo, he showed up 2 hours late with no care, walked in with a bad attitude, didn't greet any of us.
That
sat
means he
down,
probably didn't want to
and
do the
just
interview.
didn't want to talk about anything at all. Kev tried multiple times. It didn't matter what the subject was.
That means he probably
music,
didn't want to be in the
etc.
interview. He didn't want to get
just
interviewed.
refused to engage. And the funny thing is, he asked to do more podcasts. Listen, man, you gotta know the personalities of some of these rappers. A lot of them, they do not have any.
Yeah,
There's some rappers
ESTG
that
should
wanna
just went to
talk,
Gillian
some
Wallow.
rappers don't want to talk. Just
probably
because
would have
they
been
have a
way
name,
better.
Just because they have a buzz.
It probably
does not mean
would have
they're
been
gonna
way,
be
way
interesting
better.
to speak to. Obviously, coming in late, coming in with an attitude, kind of sounds like a diva. If you don't want to do a series of interviews, just tell your manager that you don't want to, because things like this will certainly
Yeah, I
damage your
mean
reputation.
that type of stuff falls back on like the assistant or the publicist, whoever it was that set this interview up for ESTG. It doesn't fall on him. It falls on the publicist. They didn't do their research, or I guess they felt that going to his platform would have been good because maybe he usually talks about music only. So that's probably why they picked Bootleg Kev. So I mean, but hey, you live and you learn.